right, my beautiful family. So today we're gonna talk about the best sleep advice to lose fat. And let me tell you why we're gonna be talking about this and why it's so important. So one of my friends told me, hey, you should make a video about sleep, how it affects hunger levels. Because I notice that when I don't get good sleep, I see myself being more hungry that day and having more cravings. And that is so true. So I'm gonna tell you how to avoid that, things that you could do to get better sleep. I'm gonna show you actionable things to do to increase your quality of sleep so you could actually benefit from the fat loss. And the first thing that we're gonna talk about is most people's goal is gonna be to maintain a healthy body weight, right? You would say, let's just say that you're in a good, healthy body weight. You want to stay healthy for the next 10, 20 years. You don't want to get obese. And if you really think about it, a lot of our, where we live in, the culture, you notice that people, as they age, they slowly start gaining weight. And we don't want that to happen. So these tips that we're gonna talk about today are gonna be to maintain a healthy body weight or to help you lose weight. And why is sleep so important? I want you to know that lack of sleep affects fat loss, your ability to really lose as much fat as possible. And there is a lot of research out there. You could go on Google Scholar and there's a lot of researchers doing this type of research on how that's affected. And I'm gonna just give you the most basic things that is important to you, for you to know, is that when you have lack of sleep, there is imbalances in hormones in your body if you're really not getting enough sleep. And there's just two hormones that we'll talk about them real quick that get affected. One is ghrelin. So ghrelin is one of the hormones that makes you feel hungry. And the way that I like to remember ghrelin is like makes you feel hungry. So think about growling. You're like growling like a lion, roar, like you just want to eat everything. So what you want is, you don't want ghrelin to be too high, because if your ghrelin levels are too high, you're going to be hungry and you're going to want to eat anything in sight. And when you have lack of sleep, ghrelin levels go up. So you want to make sure that you're sleeping good so ghrelin levels don't spike more than it's normal. And then just the other hormone that gets affected is leptin, which pretty much this hormone, it just signals your body to be like, okay, I'm full, I don't want more food. And so normally what happens is when you have lack of sleep, your leptin levels get lower, meaning that when leptin is lower, you don't get that signal of feeling full. You just feel like you keep eating because you don't feel full. So know that lack of sleep is going to affect your hormone levels. So we want to make sure that we're getting adequate sleep. So that wraps up the whole scientific stuff. So now just know that lack of sleep increases appetite, increases cravings, and it even lowers your willpower. The willpower for you to say like, okay, I'm not gonna eat this. You feel tired. And I'm gonna give you some examples of what I mean. So the other time I was driving and I was getting tired. And sometimes this could be like the willpower. You feel tired and you don't want to like fall asleep. So you almost feel like, let me reach for these chips or let me stop and get something to eat so I could stay up. So it's almost like you feel weak in that you want to give in to cravings in order to compensate for being sleep deprived. So you want to make sure that you're getting adequate sleep. And another example would be sometimes people, when they're getting tired because they're not getting adequate amount of sleep, let's just say you're working or studying and you're falling asleep, people usually reach for snacks or candy to stay up and be able to study. So just know that when you're not sleeping well, you get tired and it's easy for you to want to go for food, which is not going to serve your goals of staying in a healthy body weight or lose fat. So we want to make sure that you're getting adequate sleep. But these are gonna be the things that I call actionable steps that I want you to consider and do that are gonna be very, very helpful. And these things are things that I do and that I know have been helpful for other people. So thing number one, and after I tell you the example, I'm gonna tell you why that it's important. So consistency in sleep schedule. Making sure that you're going to sleep at a specific time and waking up at a specific time is gonna be so important for the quality of sleep that your body's gonna get during that time of rest. And this is gonna be important to do 7 days out of the week, meaning including weekends. Because sometimes maybe your weekends, you don't have to work, so you sometimes want to wake up later. But just know that if you are not waking up consistently, even in the weekends, then when it's time Sunday night to go to bed, you're going to feel tired waking up on Monday because your schedule was thrown off. But if you keep it 7 days straight, consistent, your sleep, you're going to wake up in the morning more energized because your body is going to be well rested, and inside your body, you could call it your internal body clock, is going to be regulated and used to waking up at the same time. And so there is some evidence to show that if you wake up at the same time and go to sleep at the same time, even if it's just, let's just say 7 hours, it's not 8 hours or 9, your quality of sleep is going to be so good just because of having that consistency. And let me give you an example of how this could sound practical to you. So let's just say that you wake up at 5 in the morning, but you're so tired. You're like, oh man, it's 5 in the morning. Like, I'm tired, but whatever. If you wake up because you're going to wake up at 5 and go to sleep at 9 p.m., yes, you're going to wake up tired. But when the time comes that it's 9 p.m. to go to bed, you're going to be so tired because you've been up so early that when your head hits the pillow, you're just gonna boom, go to bed, and you're just gonna be in deep sleep, which is gonna be high quality sleep. So that's why the consistency of sleep is gonna be so important. Next thing to consider, because sometimes you might be like, yes, I know sleep is so important, but it's hard for me to go to bed. It's like you just have to find a bedtime routine. And let me tell you things that I have found helpful for me that I think could be helpful for you. So one thing is, for sure, I don't like to be on my phone 1 hour before I go to bed. I can't be on my phone. One, people will tell you it could be the light of the phone that just keeps your pupils open and you can't go to bed, so it's good to not look at your phone. But one of the reasons why I don't like to look at my phone 1 hour before I go to bed is because usually that last hour, I'm just letting my body just relax, watch TV, nothing that sparks my brain to start thinking. So if I'm on my phone and I'm looking at my Instagram and I see something that sparks my brain, or if I'm reading an email from work or texting and I spark my brain, that it's not gonna trigger it's time to go to bed. But if I do something like watch TV where I'm not really thinking, then that's going to be a better type of bed routine that's not going to make you stay up and not want to go to bed. And then talking about TV shows. So maybe TV might be something that you might have to avoid, because a lot of people say sometimes the light of the TV might prevent you from going to sleep. Then maybe not having the TV turned on might be helpful for you. But one thing that I experience is I'm okay. I could go to bed. I get tired even watching TV. But one thing that I noticed that is very helpful for me to actually be able to go to bed is I watch TV shows or whatever I'm watching that is, I don't know, not that interesting, I guess you would say. Like, of course, it catches my interest. That's why I'm watching it. But maybe not that interesting. So a perfect example might be like, if I see on Netflix that there's a new movie that I've been wanting to watch, I'm probably not going to watch that night. Because if I play that, I'm going to get so hooked into the movie that my body's not going to want to go to bed. So maybe I'll put a show that I enjoy. Like, there's a show called This Is Us. I love it, but it's just an ongoing season that I watch and I enjoy it, but I just naturally fall to sleep when it's time to go to bed. So watch something that is not super interesting. But if TV does cause you to not be able to go to bed, then maybe switching to turning off the TV and your phone and maybe just try reading. That is something that I have tried in the past when I have not been able to sleep. Like I'm like, damn, I can't go to bed. I open my book and I start reading it. And for some reason, reading, especially when it's late at night and I'm already kind of sort of tired but can't go to sleep, if I start reading and maybe after a few pages, I start getting tired and then I close the book and go to bed. And so that could be one, helpful for you to actually go to bed because reading will kind of get you tired. But at the same time, it's not light that maybe it's going to be easier on your eyes than your phone or your TV to unwind at the end to get you ready to go to sleep. One last thing that I want you to consider that might be very helpful for you to actually get better quality of sleep, because sometimes people struggle with like staying asleep. You know, like I lay down, but then I keep waking up in the middle of the night. This is something that I have found helpful and other people have found helpful as well, is getting an exercise routine if you don't have one already. Because if you are a person that's really not working out, just think about how maybe, let's just say that you're going to work out after work and it's 7 p.m. and you go to the gym and you exhaust your body with running or weights. You know, you're going to get home, you're going to eat, you're going to sit down and you're like, ooh, I'm kind of tired. Damn, like I exhausted myself. So think about it. When you go to bed, your body's just going to go to bed, nice deep sleep, because you really took out all the energy of your body. So it has been, there's even studies that have found how they're looking at people who exercise, how that affects their quality of sleep. And they have found some people to have actually benefited from exercise with the quality of sleep. So consider having that exercise routine in your life if you don't have it already. So in conclusion, shoot for 7 to 9 hours of sleep a day. 7 to 9. 8 in the middle will be perfect. I sleep 8 hours. If for any reason you cannot get 7 to 9 hours, do the best to get as close as possible. If you could get 6.5, yes, 7 will be better, right? Because we're 7 to 9, but do the best to get closer to that range. 6.5, shoot for that. Don't be like, oh, since I can't sleep 7, I'm only going to sleep 4. No, 5, 6, the more closer, the better. So just do the best you can to get closer to that range as much as possible. And then worst case scenario, naps will count. So an example, if you're only sleeping 5 hours because you could only sleep 5 hours straight, taking some naps throughout the day could add up. Let's just say you take 2 30-minute naps. There's an hour. So you're sleeping 5 hours plus 1 hour of naps. That's 6 hours. So that worst case scenario, naps could be helpful. All right, family. So that wraps up the video. If you have a health topic, a health question, a health concern that you would like to ask a registered dietitian nutritionist, which is me, feel free to leave it in the comments below. I love to just break down any health topic that might be helpful to you. So go ahead and feel free to drop your question or concern below. And lastly, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really is helpful. I noticed that when people actually give me a thumbs up, this video gets pushed to other people to get viewed more often. So I would really appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.